What's up, everybody, and welcome to Week 6 of the Swolecast here on RotoGrinders.com. It's the normal cast of characters. Tuttle has made his way back to the farm, so we've got Mr. Tuttle 05, Dan Gaspar. We have Davis Mattek. You might know him from the Tate cast. And also, he was just on a Grinders Live show the other day for FanDuel.
Corporate Mattek.
Then you also have Evan Silva from RotoWorld.com. He's got his weekly matchups column. And guys, we just want to say first. Oh, by the way, I'm David Kitchen. Need no introduction. But we would just want to say I want to get a start on a hot debate on do defenses matter? No, I'm just kidding.
Not really.
I don't want to get on that debate at all.
I was about to log off.
Oh, the nerds and the jocks this week. Quite the show.
No, a better question is, no, we'll save it for another time.
Yeah.
No, run it.
Does Saquon Barkley matter? That's the real question.
Oh man, I saw
the answer. By the way, is no. He doesn't.
I saw Andy talking back to you and talking back to Evan about that last night.
There is something about Andy that just makes you want to punch yourself in the face when you talk to him.
That's a lot of people that don't understand logic. All right, let's move on.
I mean, Saquon looked good though, so
he looked great.
I agree.
Giants didn't though, did they?
Doesn't matter because Saquon looks so good, guys.
Well, that's the thing is that people that really like don't follow like football that much. They just start picking it up. Early September. And they're like, oh look at that. That looks cool. That looks cool. What do you?
He jumped really high.
What do you mean? What do you mean? He doesn't matter. Look at him. He's awesome. Oh, he just scored 25 fantasy points. And that's how they come up with their arguments. And they don't. That's fine. I get that. It's all good. It's really should be a fun, like, good-natured debate kind of.
It should be.
It doesn't need to get nasty.
It doesn't need to get personal and nasty.
Yeah, Davis. It doesn't have to.
Yeah, Davis. All right. Let's move on to Week 6. The story of Week 6 so far is like unknown injuries and just trying to like guess which injuries. Also, not a lot. Like there's a lot of like good plays out there, and it's trying to figure out which ones you want for your cash games and for your GPP lineups. Davis, we'll start with you as far as like the news you're trying to figure out for Week 6.
Looks like the biggest news at this point in terms of roster construction is going to be, does Isaiah Crowell play it? On Wednesday, Todd Bowles was just like, he just needed like a rest day. He was feeling a little sore or whatever, and then he didn't have his helmet at Thursday practice, and then he didn't practice today, and they said he's a game time decision. And then the other one is going to be Eric Ebron's status. He was on the injury report with 4 different injuries, and seems like he's going to be close to a game time call. So they have receiving tight end, converted basketball player Ryan Swope, who is Eric Swope. Ryan Swope is his
cousin.
Yeah,
old Texas A&M wide receiver. They definitely are not related.
No, they're definitely not related.
His cousin. Swope went to what? Miami. He played in Miami.
Anyways,
Texas A&M, and then the Cardinals drafted him.
Can't confirm that's true. My bad. But yeah,
those are
the 2 things that I think will have a real impact on lineup construction because it lets you get a second really expensive wide receiver.
Todd Bowles and Ryan Swope.
I don't feel that bad about mispronouncing the coach's name.
Yeah, you shouldn't. It was crappy of me to make fun of you for that anyways. Let's
bad hosting.
Bad hosting, chops by me. As far as Ebron, he practiced today, right? So he should be good to go?
Beat writers have noted that he really hasn't practiced consistently anyways, and beat writers expect him to play. But it's scary anytime that a dude misses practice on Wednesday and Thursday and is listed with like 4 different ailments, but he was back today and the beat writers think he's going to go. And he's at 1 p.m. Eastern time game against the Jets, so we'll know.
All right. Tuttle, what's your overall feeling about Week 6?
Man, I was kind of hoping – not that I don't think Swope would be a good play, but I was kind of hoping for Eric Swope chalk week when there's literally, all the low-price tight ends in play this week. there's probably like close to double-digit guys that are playable that are 3.7K and below on DraftKings. So I think the takeaway for me so far, just looking at lineup construction, especially in GPPs, is if you're having heavy exposure on one of these crappy tight ends, then you're probably doing it wrong.
All right, Evan, overall feeling for week 6?
It's Jameis Winston week, baby. I'm ready. It does seem like he's going to be heavy chalk, though. Huh?
Heavy.
Yeah,
real chalky.
I just want to see Evan eat the win.
You eat it, Evan.
How do you like that? I don't. Freaks me out. It doesn't look like we're going to get Brait, though, alone.
Yep.
Although,
Howard's coming back from
isn't that crazy? Jenna Lane of ESPN, longtime Buccaneers beat reporter, really, really good. She tweeted today that he's been practicing like in this bulky brace. I mean, he's probably just going to block, but it's still like could cut into Brait's snaps and how much he's on the field, so I don't know.
The two big games, that game as far as Tampa Bay at Atlanta, defenses don't matter in that game. Can we just come together and say defenses don't matter in that game?
No, I was told the Atlanta defense gives up a lot of receptions to running. Peyton Barber, a good play if you buy that. Jaquiz Rogers. Get Jaquiz Rogers in all your GPP lineups. Defenses matter, truthers.
And then we also have the Bengals game with the Steelers as another game that's got a pretty high over-under. And then also the Rams at Denver. But
what a giant bummer that DK doesn't include the Sunday night game. This would be a monumentally difficult regular slate if the Chiefs Patriots game was. You'd have to be making decisions on Gronk and Kelsey and Watkins and
White,
Edelman,
Michelle.
Yeah, it's just crazy. And all these guys would be at prices where they were in play.
Personally, I just want to fast forward to the 425 games. Really excited to watch those. We got Baltimore at Tennessee.
Yeah, baby.
And Jacksonville at Dallas.
We got the Rams and the Broncos in just a snowstorm. Just going to be a lot of Phillip Lindsay for 2.5 yards per carry.
There's going to be some snooze games right there. You better hope you score all the points in the early games, because if you degen and try to tilt inner.
I mean, this could be the best Sunday night showdown slate in DraftKings history. This could just be the best.
They'll crush it. All right, let's get on to quarterbacks and our DraftKings lineup. So we'll go ahead and open that up. Other than Jameis, what quarterbacks are you guys considering for this week, Davis?
I mean, I do really like Matt Ryan. I mean, he's the most expensive quarterback, so that's pretty obvious. Definitely will not be playing Russell Wilson. Baker Mayfield at 5,500, I think, is sort of interesting. But my cash pool is honestly I'm just playing Jameis. Also, Cam Newton every week that he's around 6K. He's just a great tournament play.
Tuttle?
Yeah, I'm kind of varying my GPP exposure just based on what teams or what games I'm looking to stack. I think pricing dictates, that you play Jameis on DraftKings specifically. On FanDuel, at least, you have Andy Dalton and whatnot in the same price range. Dalton going up against the Steelers. So I think at least there's a little bit more of a decision to be made there. But I think on DraftKings, it's just, you throw Jameis into your cash game lineup and move on.
Yeah, it's tough because there's not a lot of value plays so far. So if you want to punt the quarterback position, it's not pretty. You're talking to someone who played Beathard in cash last week, though, on FanDuel.
Oh,
sounds about right. I leave for 1 week.
He got there. He got there.
I know. He got there, but
just like Bortles got there at the end. I was so glad that I didn't play Bortles.
Bortles in cash last week. The people who played Bortles in cash last week, they got the whole experience, man. He was it was unreal, that game.
4 picks, and he's still a top 5 quarterback on the week.
That's 2016 vintage Bortles right there.
Was tilting Stafford's game to the moon. Just LeGarrette Blount, all the 1-yard touchdowns. It was so brutal.
All right, Silva, I'll let you pick quarterback for this DraftKings contest. Or you can just not pick quarterback if you don't want to. I mean, the gimme play is Jameis.
Yeah, let's not. Let's do Cam McCaffrey. How about?
Nice.
You say that every week. It's like your signature go-to lineup.
Yeah.
Last week we Cam McCaffrey with Odell. This week is
That's
what?
Right.
Cam
got Odell, right?
Yeah,
What do you do? What do you do if you played Odell in cash last night? What do you do now? Just kind of shoot for the stars?
Yeah, you cannot play Jameis.
Yeah.
You
probably play Cam.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, if you played Odell last night, you're looking at an uphill battle this week. You better hope that
you played Odell and you don't have Barkley. You're just looking to get weird. You definitely can't play Julio
because you need touchdowns.
No, because you need someone. You just need someone not chalk.
All right, so Cam and Christian McCaffrey, the Silva special. Tuttle.
Man, I don't even want it. I don't really want to bring it back with anybody here from Washington.
No, we don't. We don't have to.
The injury-ridden Washington.
I mean, Capri Bibbs. If Thompson and Peterson, by the way, who are both listed as questionable. Bibbs. I mean, all the work. Who do they even have to promote? I guess P. Ryan.
That's a Colorado State fellow, right? CSU's going to be all over.
Yeah, he loves himself some Bibbs.
Oh yeah, he was like when the Broncos drafted him, he was just elated. I don't know if he has a jersey or not. I don't know what his wife thinks about Capri Bibbs, but he likes Capri Bibbs. All right, running backs, wide receivers. Give us something, Tuttle.
You know what? I'll just make a play off the Devontae Freeman news, and we'll go Tevin Coleman, who's only 5,400 on DraftKings. Ideally, would like to see a little bit more involvement in the receiving game than what we've seen so far this season. But still at 5.4, even if he's getting a few goal line carries, red zone carries taken away by Ito Smith, I still think this is a good spot for him to return value at that price tag.
I have zero hesitation about playing Tevin Coleman, but there definitely is recency bias from people that have gotten burned by him, that he hasn't done well for them. And I think that's going to bode well for it. It's kind of like James Conner last week.
Oh, James Conner in cash last week, he was 28% in the single entry, $25. Recency bias bit those people hard.
Yeah. All right. So Silva or no, it's Davis. You're up.
Well, we probably need one cheap wide receiver to make all of this work. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Mohamed Sanu chalk is not something that we're interested in a large field tournament. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to throw two guys out to the group, and I'm going to let you guys debate amongst yourself for tournaments whether you would rather have Kiki Cutie against Buffalo and what will probably be a negative game script for passing, or Chester Rogers.
I would go Chester Rogers.
Yeah, so would I.
I mean, he's not great, but he's
11 targets in.
They don't have much, right?
11 targets in consecutive games. He's got like one of the lowest ADOTs in the league. You know, he's not getting red zone targets. Jets have been getting crushed in the slot every single week. I know defenses don't matter, but you know, this is like would be the 6th week in a row. So, and the Jets are without their starting slot corner, and their backup slot corner is Perry Nickerson, a 6th-round rookie. So I think that Chester Rogers is, you know, he should get between like six and 9 catches. I mean, or that.
Nice.
That's squarely within, you know, his range there.
Dinner for 2.
We've got yeah, there's some other receivers that could be cheap as well. We'll talk about those guys later. I'll continue to go cheap just so we can get some exposure to some of these studs. And the tight end position, Tuttle mentioned not putting all your eggs in one cheap basket, but I'll go CJ Uzoma.
Yeah, hot fire play. Hot fire. He's like pretty decent. And Dalton is playing like legit all-pro football right now. Like he's just playing really well. And defenses don't matter.
defenses do not matter. This should be good for the best ball teams. Jameis coming back and Dalton. 2 highest owned best ball guys for me. You've got with this defense like not mattering, we've got some room for some studs. Silva, give us a stud.
I want to play John Brown.
Yes. Yeah.
Against the Titans. Hopefully we can get him matched up a lot with Malcolm Butler, who's been getting torched.
He leads the NFL in air yards right now.
Yeah, he had 14 targets last week. 8 of his 14 targets were of longer than 15 air yards.
This is from Ben Gretsch Stealing Signals. I put it out there on Twitter, but since week 2, the only person within 250 air yards of John Brown, 250 air yards, is DeAndre Hopkins. Since week 2, that's a lot.
I think that John Brown is a viable cash play on DraftKings.com this week.
All right. There's lots.
With that matchup against Tennessee, it reminds me. You guys didn't recommend Tyrod Taylor last week, did you?
No.
I mean, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe we did.
Oh God.
Could definitely not be me.
I was pretty surprised at his ownership last week. I was like, what did I miss?
Okay, you missed concentrated targets, snaps, target share, everything going up for 3 weeks, and basically them only passing to Corey Davis and Taywan Taylor. He got 5 first-half targets, and then he fumbled the 4th play of the game, and then he did not get anything in a really bad game in the second half.
Such a bad game.
Yeah.
I watched that thing live, man. It was awful.
I did too.
Oh, you were on blurbs for that one, Evan?
Yeah. Josh Allen he's so bad. I mean, he's so bad.
Poor Nick Williams, he got cut.
I think he's worse than we thought. Oh yeah, and that drop by Nick Williams. Oh my God, that was so bad.
Imagine losing just like a lot of money because you just dropped that one pass. Yikes.
Yeah.
All right.
Or losing your job because you dropped that pass.
Right. Well, that kind of means a lot of money. I was talking about him, not other people.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Not a lot of people played Nick Williams last week.
If Isaiah Crowell, they said he was a GTD.
Yeah, Powell Stonelock.
This is going to put a lot of running backs in play. This also, Gurley is very expensive this week. Extremely expensive.
A wreck, though, man.
I know. That was my problem, at least on FanDuel construction, is like getting Gurley in there and it sabotages the rest of your lineup. You need 1, maybe 2 value spots, and I couldn't find it. Bilal Powell would definitely help for sure. All right, so do we still need like 2 stud wide receivers, or maybe 1 stud and 1 non-stud?
Well, can we not play Julio in this lineup, please?
Sure. Can we
play Adam Thielen, please?
I don't know why we want to fade, 40 automatic DraftKings points.
No, look, I'm telling you, the week where he does the Julio thing, it's going to be when like even the air yards truthers are just like, it's not going to happen. Like when finally like everyone who's ever looked up an advanced stat is like, all right, we're not doing it this week. There's some funky voodoo going on. That's when he scores 65 DraftKings points. I'm telling you.
I mean, it's happening this week.
I mean, you could play, yeah. I think Antonio Callaway also in play on DraftKings with no Higgins.
We just don't need it in this lineup.
No, we don't, unless you want to go a stud wide receiver. All right, let's move on to the rest of the quarterback conversation. Any other quarterbacks that we're looking at? Silva, any quarterbacks that you're looking at specifically?
I like Baker a little bit against the Chargers. We mentioned, I mean, I know Matt Ryan is so expensive on DK, but I mean, he certainly has a monster game potential. How about this one? I don't like a lot of quarterbacks this week. Okay, so I'm kind of digging a little bit. Case Keenum.
No, I can dig it. The Rams have not been great on defense, but defenses don't matter.
Sam Shields and Marcus Peters over the last 3 weeks have given up 8 touchdown passes over the last 3 weeks. That's their outside cornerback. So I don't know. I mean, I kind of if the game, like, everyone's going to be off the game because everyone's going to freak out on Sunday morning because it's going to be snowing, and Josina Anderson is going to be standing there, and it's they're going to be like, well, should I pull everyone out of my lineup? No one's going to play him in DFS, and the total is just going to stay right there at 51 or 52.
This could be like the Stone Nuts Robert Woods game.
Yeah, absolutely. And
to be fair to the
bring it back on with those dudes.
To be fair to the weather truthers, the rain did really prevent Eli from having a good game last night.
Watered down Eli, bad Eli. I would like to throw just the weekly. If Silva's going to throw out Cam Newton every week, I will continue the tradition of also throwing out Russ Wilson.
No, stop. We got to stop pushing this narrative that the Seahawks are viable for fantasy.
I actually kind of like that game as like a game stack. I'm not gonna
right, and he's cheap. They've got David Moore in the mix now. Like, you're really missing an opportunity by not adding David Moore to your brand, Davis. Like, the ship has sailed, sir.
I mean, I'm a Dusty Doug Baldwin. Like, being anti-Baldwin is definitely like part of my brand. But like, the thing with Russ is I just am not using him in tournaments or in game stacks until I see that he can run. Like, I just don't. I don't think that offense is conducive to like pure fantasy points from like letting him throw the ball deep or letting him throw often. So he's got to start running, and he's not at all.
The problem is by the time you see he can run, it'll be too late.
Ooh, truth nugget right there.
I mean, quarterbacks don't really matter in general.
Oh, here we go.
They don't. For their fantasy
matter. Running backs don't matter. Quarterbacks don't matter.
Defenses, man.
Nothing matters other than tall wide receivers. I think we all know that by now.
With big hands
and Bitcoin.
Arby's.
And Bitcoin.
Yes, and Bitcoin. Those are the couple things that matter to me.
All right. How's your Nike stock, Davis?
Yeah,
the market's not great right now, boys. I sold already though, so I took my profits.
Oh, nice. Enter a milli maker with that, fella. Let's just parlay.
It's only $10 this week, so
So I might be able to scrape up enough change after Phil Knight did me so dirty.
How amazing that'd be if he parlayed Nike stock into $1 million. Just amazing. All right, let's move on to the running back conversation. This is probably where the most conversation is, because there's just so many. Todd, you mentioned 10 tight ends in play. It seems like there are 10 running backs in play as well.
Yeah, now we're starting to get a little bit more because of the injury news too. Again, at the beginning of the week, we were kind of struggling with value, and like TJ Yeldon was kind of jumping out as the lowish priced guy that you could roster. I do still think he's in play at 6,400, but now we got a little bit more value with Tevin Coleman at 5,400. We know Soccer Dave loves playing Bilal Powell and cash down at 4,500 on DraftKings. And so now we have a little bit more guys we can pivot off to, which is good because I wasn't really digging a lot of our optimal lineups early week, and even still now are running guys like Zeke Elliott out there is optimal construction in cash games, things like that. And I honestly, I'm looking for a reason not to play Ezekiel Elliott in this match.
I'm also searching for that said reason, but my newfound alliance to Frisco Josh and defense is not mattering. It's making it hard.
Yeah. It's just the pace of that game is gonna be ugly, man.
Brutal.
It's gonna be.
Evan, how slow or fast do the Jaguars play? Like I don't actually know.
Yeah, I mean they actually go fast at times. But that doesn't mean that they're going to be able to go fast against Dallas. I mean, Dallas has like one of the best pass defenses in the NFL, and they're getting back David Irving, stud interior pass rusher. So,
and low-key, Jalen Smith looked like the heir to Sean Lee's throne last week. He looked so good.
Byron Jones is the number one cornerback in PFF's ratings. Sean Lee is due back this week. So, I mean, I think that the Cowboys are kind of they might be able to control this game, and that would result in it going pretty slowly.
I do have a take here.
Does pace matter?
Yes,
pace matters. Pace
Are you
matters.
sure?
Scoring matters.
Yeah, I'm positive.
Points, touchdowns. Okay.
Jacksonville's 11th in situation neutral. They jump up to 5th, just overall total seconds per play. If you did take situation neutral out of it, it looks like.
So I think Yeldon could actually play every running back snap for the Jaguars this week. They just signed Jamal Charles, who's been like on his couch for, I mean, who knows how long. And what do they have? Brandon Wilds activated off the practice squad, but Wilds is not a pass catching back. I think Yeldon will just be out there the whole game.
They cut him.
No way.
And they signed Jamal Charles.
So that's some decision making, I guess.
Let me make sure. I just want to make sure I didn't dream that.
No, I mean that sounds like. I guess if you're going to bring Jamal Charles in, you want him to be the primary backup.
They've got 3. I think they. I don't know if they cut him.
They got Big Boy Bohannon too.
Yeah, they signed Jamal Charles.
We need who's the white boy?
Saying that like it was like, did that really happen?
Who's the white boy that Toby Gerhart? We need Toby Gerhart and Denard Robinson back in our lives.
Oh, I once wrote an article on rotoviz.com called "Toby Gerhart is your 0 RB savior."
Oh boy,
I'm not shocked.
Good process pick, but bad result.
It was bad result. Bad result. The exact opposite of Saquon Barkley.
On FanDuel, Tevin Coleman just opens up so much. Like he is close to a lock at 6,500, especially like earlier this week when I was contemplating like Thursday through Monday builds, was considering like Dion Lewis at 5,500 just to get like some space with those wide receivers and quarterbacks. And I don't want to do that. Like seems like Tevin Coleman is relatively safe at 6,300. You also have Joe Mixon, who is obviously a high team total game. You got Melvin Gordon. I know it's going to be in Cleveland.
I mean, you have James Conner in this mega high total, and like he's going to go again to being not owned.
You have James Conner. You have Marshawn Lynch on both sides in a revenge game narrative.
Okay, you went like good plays, and then you went Marshawn Lynch.
Well, it's a revenge game narrative, Dan. I don't know. Does revenge game narratives not matter anymore?
Does that play out in London? I mean, is it going to be a hostile environment?
Does revenge matter?
Yeah, probably not. Let's play a game called Will You Start David Johnson this week on DraftKings?
Nope.
Okay.
No. Nope.
How low does David Johnson have to go for you to consider?
Actually, wait. If you think defenses don't matter, David Johnson should be the first guy in your lineup.
Well, you also have to believe that offenses do matter. Like play calling does matter.
Play calling matters.
David Johnson plays that they're going to get matters.
David Johnson running extremely hot on touchdowns also matters.
Mm-hmm.
We can't even, with all this stuff not mattering, we can't even have conversations anymore. It's just hijack the show.
Yeah.
We're just going to end up, just sitting by our computers, eating our food out of straws, like you guys talked about with Dink on the TakeCast.
Silva,
that's where we are headed, man.
It's true.
Hermesmeyer did it to us. Briscoe Joss did it to us.
Silva's life no longer
Milo model.
Silva's had enough.
Silva's matchups.
I'm here for it.
They no longer matter.
He's made fantasy football touts immaterial. We don't matter anymore.
Silva's life just doesn't even matter. Might as well just boot him off and get a robot on here. Let's seriously though, as far as like the running back conversation, that mid-tier running backs, that mid 7K, like would you rather have TJ Yeldon or Joe Mixon?
Mixon.
To be fair, that's a pretty decent price gap on DraftKings.
FanDuel, it's $400. Sorry.
FanDuel, it's $400. $400 on FanDuel, it's Mixon easy.
Yeah, I agree.
Silva?
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Let's like limit the player pool a little bit on DK. Who are the guys that you're considering playing in cash? And is Todd Gurley viable in cash considering all the other prices and smash spots?
Yeah, if you go like Jarvis Landry is your most expensive wide receiver, totally.
Yeah, you probably don't want to do that though.
You probably don't want to do that, but some play.
I mean, that's the question. I mean,
this is the week to play two sites in cash if you're looking for it. If you want some Gurley exposure,
I think James Conner, Elliott, Yeldon, Tevin, Powell, little love for McCaffrey, maybe, would be a good start at running back player pool.
Yeah, I don't have any.
Did I miss anyone total?
I don't think so. You said, I think you got it all.
But you said a lot of players. That's a
it's
large
like
pool.
it's like 5 guys to choose from. With like, I would give McCaffrey like a 15% chance to end up in my lineup come lock time on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is going to exactly copy what you said, but I would say C-Mac, Mixon, Yeldon, and then Tevin Coleman and Powell.
I said Connor over Mixon.
Yeah, I'd be Mixon over Connor.
I would 25 on that.
Let's do it. I still owe you 25, so yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Silva, Melvin Gordon. Thoughts on him?
Yeah, I mean, solid. I think that, because, does blitz percentage matter?
Blitz percentage and QB pressures do matter. Yes.
Okay. Greg Williams has the highest blitz percentage in the league. So I think that we're going to see like a lot of checkdowns to the RBs in this. Phillip Rivers, by the way, passer rating doesn't matter.
No, passer rating really does not matter.
Well, he has the best passer rating. So hopefully that means that he has other good metrics that do matter. Because you would think that they would correlate at least a little bit. But Phillip Rivers has the best passer rating in the NFL under pressure.
Right.
So
QB rating doesn't matter. Sorry, passer rating does matter a little bit.
I would accept. Okay. I accept QBR only. Actually.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let any dart throw running backs. I mentioned Dion Lewis.
Yeah, I got one.
Okay.
I got one who will come in at sub 1% owned. Nyheim Hines. People are going to get all in a tizzy about Marlon Mack returning, but Hines is very clearly their receiving back. The Colts are just throwing the ball like every down, and they're not throwing the ball far down the field. Hines, like everyone just got all down on him because he like had a couple fumbles in the preseason and wasn't a good punt returner. But everyone, like, of course, everyone, just the public is dumb, but he's probably been their like most exciting offensive player through the last 3 games, and is second on the team in active actually, I don't know. No, second on the team in active targets with Hilton out.
Yo, we have a home team running back on a team that's 10-point favorites. And when he's been healthy, he gets like 80% of the workload for running backs.
Okay.
I'm not going to say his name because you guys are going to make fun of me, and I don't really want to do it. But he's going to be super low owned.
Oh, is this a Dalvin Cook play?
No, Lamar Miller.
No, just stop.
Oh, dude.
No, let it go.
I mean,
Alfred Blue just dunked all over him.
He wasn't.
Blue was awesome.
Now, Lamar Miller does not matter. I mean, we can all agree.
Yes, Lamar Miller does not matter.
I mean, double. He's going to get double.
If you're looking for a maximum of 9.4 DraftKings points, Lamar Miller has got you covered.
Hey man, if I'm looking at game logs, it looks like he got me 19.9 in week 5. That's
I mean, I do someday wish to love something as much.
I don't even love
Miller.
him. I just can't quit. I can't quit the situation.
Imagine going corporate and having your brand associated with Lamar Miller.
I know. It's bad.
It's so painfully corporate.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
All right, wide receivers. Let's go to wide receivers. This is first question. Does Julio score a touchdown this week?
Yes.
Okay. We've got one yes. Tuttle?
Yeah.
All right. Silva?
Man, I don't think so.
34 targets, 21 receptions,
Julio
209 yards, 0 touchdowns.
Guys, just embrace it.
I'm on team Julio scores a touchdown this week.
Here's a
3
good one.
against 1, Silva.
Here's a good one. Charles Clay and Pierre Garçon have both gone 16 straight games without scoring a touchdown, okay? I will take one of those guys to score a touchdown. You guys take Julio, and we'll do something fun as a bet for the next show, okay?
You have to send
I get
one
both of those guys. You guys get Julio.
Oh, this actually reminds me. This is appropriate to nothing, but I am the first person to ever lose to the Mans in the 69 challenge.
Saw that.
He scored 201 points in cash last week. Like, how can you even compete with that? Like, I had 165 or something and smashed all my games, and I lost to the Zach Ertz and Flex stack with Carson Wentz.
Oh, Levitan was reading some lineup that Mans had last week.
That was the same one.
Okay, it was a crazy ass lineup.
He put it in the Man's Challenge, put it in the Millie Maker,
nice.
He put it in the listener, like he put it everywhere. So
awesome,
yeah.
Good for him.
Good, yeah, good for Mans' brand. All right, wide receivers. Let's start with the guys up top. Chalk Julio. Do you believe in Chalk Julio or not this week? We got 3 guys that said yes, he's going to score a touchdown. It means we're probably going to believe in him.
His ceiling projection on the blitz by Derek Carty, it's the most absurd thing I've ever seen. His ceiling projection, I'll give away a little bit of the secret sauce, is 45 DraftKings points. I don't even know where to begin.
It's like a Davis Mattek, Johnny Manziel ceiling right there.
It is, yeah.
But he actually might get it. This might be a 200-yard game for him.
He could.
All right. So he's 8,500 on DK. He's going to be very, very chalky.
How many catches and yards between the 20s do you have to get to 45?
A lot. We get it, Evan.
20 catches for 225 yards gets him close, I think.
Evan's being such a hater right now on Julio.
No, I'm going to play him.
Okay, good. All right, Tyler Boyd in the Pittsburgh game is also going to be relatively chalky. Thoughts on Tyler Boyd this week, Silva?
Yeah, I mean, one of the problems last week was that Dalton just didn't throw very much, and they moved A.J. Green into the slot, and Tyler Boyd ran outside more, and he just didn't get as many. He got, 7 targets, went 4 for 44. I mean, I think that, I think that he is going to be a good play again, but I would worry a little bit about them doing something similar this week with A.J. Green to get him into the slot, to get him away from Joe Hayden, because they did that specifically to keep him away from Xavier Howard. One thing that we do know is that coaches think defenses matter. Mm-hmm. And, we saw that them make that adjustment. Joe Hayden has only played 4 snaps in the slot all season. So a way for them to get A.J. Green away from him would be to run him in the slot a bunch again. And A.J. Green really – I remember he caught a touchdown out of the slot in week 1 on like a vertical route out of the slot. I mean, I do like Tyler Boyd as a solid play, but, there I just want to express a little bit of concern there.
Noted. I think he's going to be way more chalky on FanDuel than DK. Still in play on DK. But, we've mentioned John Brown, and also I am curious as to how owned that Antonio Callaway is going to be, because he does open things up at 4K. Like, he is he
seems like maybe not that great of a player, though. I just feel like he's always doing something inefficient.
They lost Rashard Higgins to the MCL, right? He's week to week. Just recently, it was announced that Derek Willis, who was going to be there, he was going to fill in for Rashard Higgins. He fractured his collarbone in practice today, and he ain't going to play. So it's
bring back Janice.
It's going to be this dude Damian Ratley, who they drafted as the other outside receiver. And I mean, I don't know if Baker's going to throw to him, and they're going to have to run Callaway a lot. They did drop his snaps a little bit last week, but they're going to have to go back to him because of these injuries.
What they drop his snaps to last week?
A very nice 69.
My man. All right. Let's go on to some other wide receivers. Any other cheapies you guys like this week, Davis? You got a Cortland Sutton take?
I mean, Cortland Sutton, there you go. He's the guy from the Frisco Josh Bilo air yards model.
He has had a lot of air yards, had some pass interferences, had some ones he couldn't come down with, but does have a lot of air yards, yes.
I do not have a cheap wide receiver who I feel particularly good about this week. My strongest take at the wide receiver position this week is to play Diggs in tournaments, because he's coming off of 21 receptions and 26 targets in the last 2 games, and he's going to be unowned. People would rather play Thielen, and also to play Jarvis Landry just because I think people will think about the Chargers having all these good cornerbacks and Derwin James, and then they'll realize the defenses don't matter, and Jarvis Landry will just get another 12 targets.
Well, for the same reason that Silva mentioned Callaway, Jarvis Landry also in play. It's kind of similar to the Titans with Corey Davis and Taywan Taylor last week. Just saying. Trap. Tuttle, you've been quiet.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Cortland Sutton was in the running for a terrible take this week by me. So I'm a little taken aback that you actually mentioned him, that Soccer Dave. That makes me think it's not even.
I mean, he read.
You should probably just reconsider and not tell him that was your take.
I mean, I'll say Robbie Anderson, if for whatever game for whatever reason the Jets are forced to throw, he does remain capable of scoring long touchdowns and is the only one on that offense who can do so.
We should just start saying stuff like Robbie Anderson. I don't even know who's playing this week, but I think he's a good play.
Yeah, like Robbie Anderson, regardless of matchup.
Yeah, we know that he could get long touchdowns. I saw it on a box score like in 2016.
His 4 targets a game. I mean, he's going to catch 3 of them for 100-some yards and a couple touchdowns. So,
all right, we haven't talked about the Pittsburgh receivers. So you've got Antonio Brown, you've got Juju. We've already talked about Thielen and Diggs, but how would you approach Antonio Brown and Juju? Especially, it seems like Antonio Brown could be in line for like a smash play just because everyone's gonna be playing Julio, and it looks like a decent pivot off of that.
No one's playing AB this week. No one's playing.
Yeah,
Tuttle?
I mean, he's the guy you would take a stand on, I think. Still getting the opportunity, even though he hasn't been efficient with it. I mean, you have to deal with Big Ben on the road, which isn't great, but it's one of the higher total games of the week. You guys mentioned it. He's not going to be owned. He's not going to he's not going to be owned. So I think from like a game theory perspective, he's a fine pivot off of Julio Jones, and I do think we've seen Davis mention it already. I think if people are paying up, I think you'll probably see Adam Thielen with even higher ownership than Antonio Brown too.
I can confirm. People love the narrative that he's broken an NFL record. People like to chase that.
Yep, and he's got.
This is how people's brains work, man. It's
model
crazy.
Of consistency that Thielen. A guy that I kind of like. That I don't think anybody's going to be on is Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
Brown's defense is strong. TJ Carey is a fine matchup for Keenan Allen, though, in the slot. We mentioned we kind of like Cleveland receiving and passing games, kind of possibly playing catch-up. You do have the West Coast traveling to East Coast problem here for the Chargers, so there's the possibility that he comes out flat.
Browns cover. You heard it here first.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a very unique take, I would say. But anyway, so Keenan –
they're gonna end up favored. Oh my God, they're favored at Bet Online right now.
I said they cover.
Okay. Oh, they cover. Okay.
Yeah, I mean everybody loves that West Coast East Coast narrative, but yeah, I think I do like Keenan as kind of another low owned guy that should see some targets funneled his way in this matchup.
All right, Nuke on one side. I know he's got Tre'Davious White that's going to be covering him. On the other side, Mike Evans. Both good receivers, both similar price ranges. Where would you go on those two, Davis?
I mean, you just got to go Julio, man.
No, that's not the question.
That wasn't the question.
Did you ask me Evans versus Julio?
Nope.
Evans versus Nuck.
Oh, versus Nuck. I mean, yeah. My take on that game is I'm playing Kiki Cutie because I think he's like the next new thing. So I will go Evans.
That's not okay.
I hope you guys.
That was a brutal. All right, that was a brutal 45 seconds for me there. My bad, guys.
Okay. All right. Good. Tuttle, what were you saying?
I hope you guys gave me props on Kiki last week.
We did, and I mean, just because I was in agreement with you,
I gave you props on the Gilcast too.
Well, there we go. But
all
yeah,
right.
I mean, that's
Evans versus Hopkins.
That's Evans easy.
All right, easy for you too, Silva.
I'm going Evans. Yeah.
All right, fair enough. All right, let's fire up FanDuel, do a lineup, then we'll get the tight ends, and then get out of here.
By the way, how annoying is it that Tampa Bay still just gives slot snaps to Adam Humphries?
It's the most absurd thing about their offense. Like, you have all these amazing athletes, and then they're like, all right, we're running Humphries out there 40 snaps a game.
He's going to have like 9 catches this week, man.
I know, he is. But I'd much rather just be able to play like Chris Godwin.
Right, I know.
Is Godwin maybe
They can't,
casually in play?
Dirk Cutter can't figure out how to get Godwin in the slot so they can play Deshaun Jackson, Mike Evans, and Chris Godwin together. How nice would that be?
That'd be awesome.
They can't figure out how to do it.
Yeah, Adam Humphries is low key like Evan said, he's gonna see a lot of targets sent his way. I mean, I'm not playing him, but he's a guy that I would not be surprised if he was put up double digits at 3,200 on DraftKings.
All right, we're gonna go on FanDuel, and I'm gonna get the party started and see how we can adjust to this. But going Todd Gurley as a running back. So let's see if we can do any sort of damage with a Todd Gurley lineup. Tuttle?
I like the Gurley call. Let's go. I'm going to take a little stand here with my Keenan take. Even though I like his price better on DraftKings, I'm going to go with Keenan.
What Keenan is – I agree with your take holistically, but I think he's a much better play on DraftKings.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like I said that.
Tuttle, I asked him for value. He chose Keenan Allen. So that's that. Silva?
Oh, you actually asked me for value. I didn't hear that part.
No, I said we have to figure out how to attack this, but that I'm just surprised that Keenan Allen would be the way that we would attack.
Keenan Allen is
not
quite the value play that you're looking for, but
we're really behind that. We're really going to have to dig for some value here. Silva?
Bilal Powell.
There you go.
Yeah.
Boom.
Colts have been weak against the run, giving up a ton of receiving production to RBs. That suits Bilal Powell more so than Isaiah Crowell. Isaiah Crowell did not practice on Wednesday or Thursday. He was limited on Friday, so he barely practiced all week with an ankle injury. They called him a game-time decision, but we're leaving him in there even if Isaiah Crowell plays. We're still rolling with Bilal Powell. Even last week, in a very positive game script game for the Jets, Bilal Powell had 20 touches. I know Isaiah Crowell ripped 2 big runs, but Isaiah Crowell only had 16, and Bilal Powell played more snaps.
Davis, who you got?
Give me the red rifle on FanDuel.
All right. Andy Dalton. All right. I will go ahead and see, I kind of want to take Mixon, but Tevin Coleman's cheaper. But okay, I'll take Tevin Coleman just because don't want to pair.
What's Gio's practice status? I actually did not see anything.
Not playing.
He's already out.
Cool.
So we'll go Tevin Coleman. That will give us some salary to play with. All right, Tuttle.
Do you want another value play here, or?
I mean, we don't have too much room to spend, depending on where we go.
I mean, we talked about Tyler Boyd being a better play on FanDuel than DraftKings. We got Red Rifle in the lineup, so let's just play Tyler Boyd with him.
All right. So
nope.
Tuttle's
not going to complain about more. Not going to complain about more Tyler Boyd.
It's still legit kind of gross week, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is actually. Yeah.
All right, so we got a wide receiver, tight end, defense left. Silva.
I don't know. Who's left?
Well,
you could go cheap tight ends. We've already talked about Uzoma, but we had him in the DK lineup. He's 5,100.
No. All right. We're gonna go. Oh, this is so gross, but Jeff Hoyerman.
No.
Yeah.
What defense allows the most fantasy points per game to the tight end position? I think that's whatever tight end we should play.
No, I know the Rams have given up the 7th most yards to tight ends. We are getting this cheap piece of this high scoring game, and Jeff Hoyerman over the last 2 weeks is 13th among NFL tight ends in number of routes run.
No arguments.
I will.
He also leads the Broncos in red zone targets and targets inside the 10-yard line.
I will comment while we're on the tight end position that Cameron Brate's only 4,500 on FanDuel.
Mm-hmm.
So if OJ Howard is active, I mean that's still potentially a risk that you can take on FanDuel.
I mean the Winston Brate splits. He just he never targets Howard and always targets Brate. I don't know if QB splits matter. I need to talk to my data analyst about that before I make a public statement.
Yes, you do. I will say that you could still go. The guy that I'm looking at, if you're not going with, well, now that Brate's not free, is Trey Burton at 5,800 on FanDuel. Feels like a pretty good value. They found out how to get him involved before their bye. Hopefully that does not change against this Miami defense. 5,800 seems pretty solid for a Travis Kelce light.
If you want a great a game that is going to be ugly, that's the one.
Yeah. I think the Titans-Ravens will be uglier than that. And then
so
Jags,
you're gonna
Jags,
recommend
Cowboys.
playing Taiwan Taylor again?
No, I'm not going to. No, but I am fully prepared for a 100-yard Taiwan Taylor game, and then just everyone just going nuts because of it. All right, so tight ends, other tight ends that we like this week. Vance McDonald did nothing last week. Jeff Hoyerman did nothing last week.
Yeah, Vance McDonald is interesting to go back to because the game script there, it just wound up being a massive James Conner game, and Antonio Brown was the only dude on the Steelers who got more than 4 targets in the entire game. So that's not going to usually happen. And Vance McDonald, even in this game where they were ahead the entire time, he still ran more routes and played more than Jesse James, who is the blocker who you would think would actually play more in a situation like this. So if the Bengals jump out here, which they very well could, the Steelers defense is very, very bad, particularly against the pass. I think that we could get that 6-7 targets out of Vance McDonald that we were looking for last week, and I think that he's a good fade recency bias play as well.
Drops and Njoku also in play, since we're talking about a concentrated offense there in Cleveland. It'd be nice if he could just be efficient for one game. He had 11 targets last week. If you just cut out the drops, fella. Other tight ends you like, Tuttle?
Yeah, this guy is not a guy that I'm thinking really of playing in cash games, and I don't really think the matchup's ideal, although the Vikings have been poor this year. But Ricky Seals-Jones, I think, is a guy that's going to see some decent volume. Arizona playing from behind. Again, Vikings have been bad covering the tight end, and Rosen is looking at his tight end a lot. Seals-Jones is tied with Fitzgerald for most targets from Rosen over the last 2 weeks. He's actually has a 33% market share of air yards as well. So he's seeing valuable targets, decent ADOT. So I think he's a guy that I kind of like in GPPs as pivot off of some of the chalkier guys.
He had over 100 air yards last week.
Yeah, he had 6 targets. He outdid Enunwa. He had 6 targets, didn't catch any of them. And Enunwa had 5 targets and didn't catch any of them. Good job. Good job, guys. All right, so Tuttle decides to make fun of my play and then goes with the Ricky Seals-Jones take. And now we're here. Anybody want to double down with a Jeff Swaim take while we're at it?
David Njoku is someone I really like.
Oh, you like David Njoku, huh?
I mean, if we're just going on the assumption that these dudes are going to be out, and then I also like Trey Burton. He's been the main recipient on all their scripted plays. I got 9 windows open right now, and Tuttle just talk forever.
What is going on here? I
You
literally
stole both of Soccer Dave's plays, dude.
Wow, that's so embarrassing.
That's
I literally talked for 30 seconds. And it's the first time you didn't interrupt me when I talked this episode.
Oh, get dunked on. Had a bad show. Had a bad show.
Oh man, Tuttle almost had some inflection in the voice to get you
to match Davis.
Yeah, to wake him up. Wake Davis up. All right. Well, that will do it for this Swolecast. Final takes. Guys, Davis, redeem yourself. Give us one good play. One solid play. Redeem yourself on the show.
One solid play. I'll just say make sure to get James Conner in your tournament lineups. It's pretty easy to forget about him with how wide the running back pool is this week. Do not make the mistake of not having at least 25% James Conner.
Silva, give us a good take.
I really, really like John Brown.
There you go. John Brown makes a move. And then Tuttle?
I mean, I obviously have to double down on Ricky Seals-Jones at this point. So that's what I'm doing.
Well, defenses don't matter, so if the opportunity's there, he's a good play.
Yep.
Yeah, but Tuttle noted that the Vikings have been bad against tight ends.
Oh, yes, embarrassing, dude.
That ruined my point.
This show doesn't clearly this show doesn't even matter, but we are thankful for everyone that's tuning in. Week 6 of the Swolecast. Also, guys, next week we got NBA starting. Got a lot of stuff going on.
Sounds terrible.
So this is for corporate Tuttle, it's terrible.
Corporate Tuttle.
Yeah.
Look for my premium playbook.
Can Tuttle and I get on an NBA show?
Tuttle's doing NBA stuff. This is like we need the Kyle O'Quinn Tuttle takes when everyone's going with Willie
Hernan Gomez is you got to reverse.
I cannot wait for it. It's going to be so good, and also that's when you get the best value out of RotoGrinders. So if you've been waiting to sign up, at least get like a 2-week window, 2 or 3 week window where you have all of the sports in one, and it should be fun, especially with the DraftKings and FanDuel changes to NBA next week. Grinding NBA preseason has been fun, but I'm ready for the regular season. And I'm ready for week 6 to be here. So, guys, let us know on Twitter. Whatever happens, light our Twitter mentions up on Sunday when things go right, go wrong, when Lamar Miller has 2 touchdowns. Let us know. We want to hear from you. Check out Evan's stuff on Roto World. Check out Davis' stuff on TakeCast. Check out Tuttle's stuff everywhere at RotoGrinders.com. I'm Soccer Dave. We'll see you next week, week 7 here on RotoGrinders.com.